Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. It's great to be back. This time I'm talking about episode 77, so let's get to it. Episode 77 begins in the Sunyshore Gym where Ash and Volkner are walking towards the battlefield where they will have their Ultra Class battle. It is surprising that they waste no time in getting to the action, but considering that they did set up this battle in the previous episode, I guess that is not too surprising that they do get to the good stuff fast. Ash and Volkner both say that they are happy because they get the chance to battle each other again. Volkner then notices that Ash has a sea ring and a sea crystal. Ash mentions that this sea crystal was made just for him and Pikachu. Volkner says that he is looking forward to the battle even more now, and so he says that they should make it a great battle, to which Ash agrees. The episode then cuts to the battlefield, which is surrounded by a crowd of people that are eagerly waiting for the battle to begin. Goh and Grookey are among them. It's clear from this alone that the Ultra Class is where the Pokemon World Coronation Series becomes a true tournament, since battles take place in a stadium with a big audience. There's an announcer that introduces the trainers that will participate in the battle, and there is also a big screen that not only shows the trainers and their rank, but also their Pokemon. This truly feels like an official tournament battle, unlike previous battles, which for the most part felt like random street battles akin to the ones you have in the games when a trainer makes eye contact with you. There were, of course, a few exceptions, like the battle between Ash and Corina. So, Ash and Volkner enter the battlefield, they are both introduced, and the battle finally begins. The battle is 3-on-3, which is another fact that shows that battles in the Ultra Class are much more intense and serious. Ash's first Pokemon is Lucario, and Volkner's first Pokemon is Luxray. Luxray begins the battle by using Electric Terrain, which of course powers up Electric type moves. This gives Volkner an advantage. Now, Ash says that he knew that Volkner would use Electric Terrain, and I do wonder how Ash knows this, since it's not like Electric Terrain is Volkner's signature move or anything. And Volkner did not use this move against Ash in the past either, because Electric Terrain was introduced in Generation 6, so it did not exist when Ash and Volkner battled back in the Diamond and Pearl series. I guess that maybe Ash has seen videos of Volkner's recent battles, or maybe he just assumes that an electric type trainer like Volkner will use a move like Electric Terrain. So Lucario uses Aura Sphere, but Luxray uses Rising Voltage, which not only destroys the Aura Sphere, but it also hits Lucario, who manages to stand strong in a defensive stance. This is the first time that Rising Voltage is used in the anime, and Rising Voltage is twice as strong in an electric terrain. So Volkner did not only give a huge advantage to his entire team by setting up an electric terrain, but he is also using a powerful combination of moves. In response to this impressive combo, Ash decides to withdraw Lucario, which is surprising. Ash would normally keep battling in a situation like this. He would try to brute force his way through his opponent strategy, but instead he decides to go with another Pokemon here so that he can change tactics, which is a smart move. Ash is being more rational than normal, which shows that he is aware of who he is battling and he is aware of what class he is fighting in. So Ash's next Pokemon is Gengar, who greets Luxray with the classic troll face. Luxray uses Snarl, which Gengar easily dodges with the agile movements of a ghost. Gengar then uses the same mobility to confuse Luxray. Gengar then proceeds to use Psychic to toss Luxray into the ground, followed by a Nightshade attack before Luxray can recover. Luxray does shrug off the damage it took, but Gengar continues to teleport around, confusing Luxray in the process, so Volkner withdraws Luxray. Volkner compliments Gengar, saying that Gengar is quite the opponent and that not much can confuse his Luxray the way Gengar did. To deal with Gengar, Volkner sends out his fan Rotom, a Pokemon that is also fast and tricky due to its ghostly movements. Granted, Rotom loses its ghost typing when it transforms, transforms, but it still looks like a ghost and it moves like one too. Fan Rotom is also a Pokemon Volkner did not have before, or at least a Pokemon he did not use in the past. Gengar keeps darting around the arena, but Rotom is able to keep up, so Gengar no longer has the advantage when it comes to mobility. Rotom then uses Air Slash, which Gengar counters by using Nightshade. Both moves clash and this continues since both Pokemon fly around while firing the same moves. Gengar stops using Nightshade in order to use Ice Punch, so Gengar tries to hit Rotom, who easily avoids the attack. Rotom then uses Thunder Wave to hit Gengar, who falls to the ground and ends up paralyzed. Rotom then uses Hex, which is not only super effective on Gengar, but it also deals double damage because Gengar is afflicted with a status condition, and so Gengar is knocked out. Man, poor Gengar just can't catch a break. Gengar was also defeated without knocking out a single opponent back when Ash battled Korrina. And now the same thing happened again. Hopefully Gengar gets to defeat an opponent the next time that Ash decides to use Gengar in a battle. Also, Volkner once again shows that he definitely knows what he is doing when it comes to battling, since he used yet another powerful combination of moves. So, Ash withdraws Gengar and the electric terrain expires. Ash sends out Pikachu next. At this point, it was obvious that Pikachu or Lucario will have to defeat two of Volkner's Pokemon so that Ash can win. Pikachu starts off with an Electro Web, which surprises Volkner since Pikachu did not know this move the last time that Volkner and Ash battled. Electro Web succeeds in trapping Rotom. Pikachu follows up with a Thunderbolt, but Volkner withdraws Rotom and he sends out Electivire instead, who is hit by Thunderbolt in place of Rotom. Electivire is of course unaffected by Thunderbolt, and it even gains a speed buff thanks to its ability Motor Drive. This is a very clever maneuver on Volkner's part, and this tactic is something that you would see in a serious competitive player versus player Pokemon battle in the games, which shows yet again that Volkner is very skilled. Electivire takes advantage of the increase to its speed by using Fire Punch to hit Pikachu before Pikachu can even react. Pikachu shrugs off the damage he took and he uses Iron Tail, but Electivire counters by using Iron Tail as well. While Pikachu tries his hardest to land a hit, Electivire takes advantage of the fact that it has two tails and it overwhelms Pikachu. Since Pikachu is clearly outmatched, Ash decides to switch Pokemon yet again, so Lucario enters the battle once again. Lots of substitutions in this battle, which makes things even more interesting. Lucario starts off with an Aura Sphere, but Electivire rushes Lucario with Fire Punch. Both moves clash and the resultant explosion pushes both Pokemon back. Electivire recovers from the knockback and it uses Wild Charge, which Lucario avoids with Double Team. Lucario then uses Aura Sphere alongside its clones, but Electivire spins around and it deflects all the Aura Spheres with its tail. Electivire then hits Lucario with Thunder Punch, though just like before, Lucario takes a defensive stance in order to guard against the attack. However, Lucario ends up paralyzed, which is unfortunate. Not Lucario's lucky day. Since Lucario is paralyzed, Volkner decides to swap Pokemon once again. He sends out Rotom so that Rotom can exploit the fact that Lucario is afflicted with a status condition by using Hex. Man, Volkner is ruthless and he once again uses a tactic ripped straight out of competitive Pokemon battles. Despite taking a massive amount of damage, Lucario is still standing. However, taking so much damage presents Lucario with the perfect opportunity to use Reversal. Rotom uses Air Slash in order to defeat Lucario for good before Lucario can use Reversal, but Lucario endures the attack and it uses Reversal successfully, which knocks Rotom out. Now I have to say that it's crazy how much damage Lucario has been able to take while still staying in the fight. Gengar was defeated after taking less damage. In fact, Lucario was hit with the same Hex plus Paralysis combo that took Gengar out, but Lucario was still able to keep battling. Granted, Hex is super effective on Gengar while Lucario takes normal damage from it, but still, it feels like Gengar got the short end of the stick here since it was defeated easily while Lucario takes a ton of damage and is still able to get a knockout. The same thing happened before when Ash battled Karina. Gengar was taken out easily when compared to Dragonite, who took much more damage while still being able to defeat both of Karina's Pokemon. Sure, it's possible that Dragonite and Lucario are just stronger than Gengar, and Lucario did do a good job of protecting itself by guarding a lot. But I feel that Gengar has been mistreated a bit thus far when it comes to battles. Also, it's ironic that the Rotom drone has to say Rotom is unable to battle. So Ash wonders if Lucario can keep going, and Lucario says that it can while shrugging off its paralysis at the same time. Volkner says that Lucario lives up to its name as the Aura Pokemon, and he sends out Luxray once more. Luxray sets up another electric terrain, and then it uses Rising Bolt while Lucario uses Aura Sphere. Both moves clash, which leads to a massive explosion. The smoke clears to reveal the classic situation where both Pokemon are still standing after a clash of attacks, and they stare at each other for a while, which leaves us in suspense as to who won. In this case, both Lucario and Luxray fall to the ground, so it's a double knockout, and thus the battle comes down to Pikachu versus Electivire. I have to say that Lucario and Luxray knocked each other out rather fast, but it is understandable considering that they both took a lot of damage in previous battles. So, Pikachu starts off with an Iron Tail, but Electivire uses Wild Charge to overpower Pikachu. The electric terrain then fades shortly after. Electivire then uses Iron Tail, and Pikachu counters by using Iron Tail as well. Both of them clash continuously, but Pikachu manages to win this exchange by cleaving Electivire on the head with Iron Tail, which reminds me of when Pikachu defeated Electivire the first time that they fought, back in the Diamond and Pearl series. Volkner compliments Ash and Pikachu, saying that they are quite the opponents and that their ferocity and intensity makes Volkner and his Pokemon stronger. Pikachu then turns to Ash like, "It's time, bro, let's do this." So, Ash throws his cap to Pikachu, who puts it on, and then Ash and Pikachu get ready to use their C move. Volkner says that he has been waiting for the C move, so he and Electivire get ready to fight back. Ash and Pikachu do their poses, and Pikachu fires off the 10 million volt Thunderbolt. Volkner tells Electivire to absorb the C move using Motor Drive, so Electivire stands its ground and it tries to take in the entire C move, but there is too much electricity and Electivire can't absorb it all. The excess electricity causes a massive explosion that defeats Electivire. Now in reality, this would not work since Motor Drive makes the Pokemon immune to electric attacks, so Electivire should be able to just stand there and shrug off the C move. But the anime does follow its own rules sometimes, and this instance is one such case. Also, it's funny that in the lead up to this episode, I did make several videos discussing this episode. In one of those videos, someone commented, "Imagine if Ash uses his C move on Electivire, who is immune to electric attacks." Because Ash is the type of person that would do something like this. He is the same person that would call for an electric type move against a ground type Pokemon. I responded to this comment saying that I could see this happening as well, since Ash told Pikachu to use Bolt Tackle against Paul's Electivire. So it is hilarious that Ash does indeed end up using the C move against Electivire, even though he did it because he did not have a choice, and not because he was making a rookie mistake. So Ash is the winner of the battle and his rank increases to 64. Volkner congratulates Ash and he praises the C move that Ash and Pikachu used. Ash reveals that when he learned that Volkner would be his opponent, he decided to retrieve his C-Ring so that he could win with the strongest electric type move possible against Volkner. Volkner then says that Ash might be the eye of the storm that shakes up the Ultra class and even the Master class. Ash expresses an interest in the Master class and Volkner reveals that Cynthia is part of the Master class, which is a very exciting revelation but not a surprising one. Back when it was revealed that the top 8 trainers in the World Carnation series are referred to as the Masters 8, and that Leon, Lance, and Raihan are part of this elite group, I said that it would be cool if the other members of the Masters 8 are other champions and Elite 4 members. So it's not surprising that Cynthia is one of them, but it is still amazing that this is the case, and I think that it is likely that Ash will battle Cynthia in the future, which is very exciting. It is then shown that Leon, Raihan, Bee, and Cynthia all see Ash's battle with Volkner on TV. So they all know that Ash is in the Ultra class, and that he is climbing even further up the ranks. The episode ends with an image that depicts these same 4 trainers and Lance as opponents that Ash will eventually have to face. And I absolutely cannot wait to see these battles in the future, and that's the episode. So overall, this was an amazing episode. The battle between Ash and Volkner was incredible, especially because it was 3-on-3, and they dedicated pretty much the entire episode to the battle. So this battle did not feel as rushed as some of the previous battles have. The constant substitution of Pokemon and the exceptional move combinations on Volkner's part really showed that he is a skilled trainer who is worthy of being so high up in the ranks. And this made the battle that much more intense and dynamic. And it truly felt like Ash is now in the big leagues playing with the pros. Ash himself battled more smartly and he was less reckless, which shows that he is keenly aware of what class he is in and who he is facing. So I think that this was a great battle and one of the best so far in Pokemon Journeys. My only complaint is that Gengar did not perform as well as I hoped. The revelation that Cynthia is in the Master class and the fact that Ash will probably end up battling her and Raihan and Lance is very exciting. It was also nice to see all these amazing trainers at the end of the episode. It's cool that they all know that Ash is rising through the ranks and that they will have to battle him someday, which makes me look forward to the future of this series even more. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching and let's meet again in the next video.